At the Old Sun News Network, one of our favorite guests was Joel Pollak from Breitbart News. He's their editor-at-large based in Los Angeles, and he joins us now via Skype from Brentwood, California. Hey, Joel, it's great to see you again. Welcome back.
Good to be with you.
Well, and Mazel Tov, I hope I'm not giving away a family secret to say you're expecting a new little one any minute now. So thank you for joining us on this momentous day in your personal life.
I stepped outside of the delivery room just to talk to you and your viewers.
Well, we'll keep it quick. And I want to talk about two big American stories that I know our viewers would be very curious about, but they have been starved of facts on these subjects by our Canadian mainstream media. I want to start first with Hillary Clinton, who is just the love of the life of so many mainstream journalists up here who have not yet reported the growing scandal of her email. Not just the fact that she has hidden it from disclosure to Americans, but that she had top secret United States confidences on her homemade server, and that she's breached those confidences and privileges. Tell us a little bit about it and the FBI investigation into her.
Well, the background you have to know about this is that the laws governing the handling of classified information are very, very tough. In fact, we recently saw the former CIA chief and head of U.S. forces in Iraq, David Petraeus, prosecuted and convicted for putting classified information on a private email account. Now, he was just convicted of a misdemeanor. He's not going to go to jail, but it is a crime. That was for one email account. Hillary Clinton may have hundreds, perhaps thousands of emails with classified information in them. And she not only took those pieces of information or those emails off of her government computer outside of the State Department when she was Secretary of State, but housed them on a private server, private email account, exchanging them with other private individuals throughout her tenure. And all of that is illegal. Some of it, in fact, is rising to the level of a felony if she is prosecuted and convicted. So this is really serious stuff. And no one really knows why she thinks she can get away with it or thought she could get away with it, except for the fact that she is a Clinton and they do have a tendency to worm their way out of these kinds of things. But it is threatening to derail her campaign now because in addition to being tied up in this scandal, she's facing a strong left-wing challenge from Bernie Sanders, the socialist senator from Vermont. But this is really a serious issue about national security, especially when America is deeply worried about Chinese and Russian hacking attempts, when there are all kinds of cyber crimes going on, and when she appears to have installed this server and created a private email domain in order precisely to keep these kinds of emails from reaching public attention through Freedom of Information Act requests and things like that. So the whole level of secrecy upon secrecy, and it appears to have crossed the border into illegality.
I would understand why she would want to keep things out of the public eye. That's the Clinton way to avoid scrutiny, to do side deals with the Clinton Family Foundation, to do business at the same time she was doing matters of state. I understand that, but the irony is in order to avoid her emails being read by lawful people, she allowed them to be put in grave jeopardy of being read by foreign powers, and ironically, it wasn't her private business dealings, it was matters of top secret national security. I was reading that one document the FBI was interested in was so top secret, it was marked no foreign eyes allowed. Like they wouldn't even share that document with their Canadian allies or Australian allies. These things were just on her server, and then, not just that, but then her lawyers and her lawyers' staff would review them and photocopy them, that she would basically treat this like any other document as opposed to a deadly secret matter that can't leave the building of the State Department. I find the whole story incredible, and it's incredible to me that the media will talk about anything else while this is going on.
You alluded to a couple of the reasons she may have wanted to keep those emails private. One is that she may have been intermingling her duties as Secretary of State with her family's interest in the Clinton Foundation. So that's one suspicion. Another is simply that she didn't want public scrutiny of what she was doing. The whole reason that there is this intense interest in her email is because of the Benghazi investigation going on in the U.S. House of Representatives. And the House has been trying to get emails that she exchanged on that night and about that event, which she was unable to turn over. It turns out that an independent watchdog organization, Judicial Watch, was also after the emails, and they're also responsible for uncovering some of the information about the secret email accounts. She had more than one, and the email server. So yes, you're absolutely right. This was information that was highly sensitive in many cases, and who knows exactly why she did it, but it is a serious concern for someone who is asking the American people to trust her with their security for 4 years or 8 years as commander-in-chief.
You mentioned Bernie Sanders challenging her from the left. I think that's an interesting phenomenon. I don't think he has the horsepower to go the whole way. That's just me as an amateur observer from here in Canada. He seems too unserious. He seems like almost like a summertime affair for the Democrats until they have to come back to the reality that they've got to meet up with Hillary. But this email matter seems to be getting more serious, and people talk about the possibility of Joe Biden, the vice president, stepping in. He hasn't denied it. His late son, Beau, had been encouraging his father, Joe, to run. And some people say that there's enough hatred, actually, of Hillary Clinton within the Obama White House that they would want to deploy Joe Biden, and maybe they're in fact leaking information about Hillary Clinton. Some of this is surely gossip and speculation, but where do you think the Obamas stand on Hillary, and if they want her to succeed Obama as the president?
I don't know where they stand. I do know there was no love lost between the two during the 2008 campaign, and certainly some resentment, but the Clinton world basically was integrated into the Obama world. I mean, the Clinton chief of staff, excuse the automatic energy-saving light in my office, which I have to wave to turn back on again. The Clinton chief of staff, John Podesta, joined Obama's White House. And so basically those two worlds melded. So I wouldn't overstate the animosity. I also think that Obama has an interest in seeing her elected because she's likeliest to continue his legacy, his policies. She, after all, served in his administration. I don't think he thinks Joe Biden can do it. I don't think he's ever had much confidence in Biden, even though Biden is good at certain things that Obama is not. I do think, though, that she's going to start looking more and more vulnerable, and you may see other Democrats looking into joining this race. You've got, here in California, Jerry Brown, the governor. You've got Martin O'Malley, already former governor in Maryland, in the race. There are a large variety of people, most of whom are in their late 60s or 70s, from an aging party whose young cohort has not yet really come into their own and does not have a very deep bench either in the Senate or in the governor's mansions around the country. But you could see people jumping in. I think Obama would like to see her elected if she's going to win and present a prospect of continuing his policies. With a Biden or an O'Malley, you may get the possibility that someone will run against Obama's record, and that's a risk I don't know he wants to take. Bernie Sanders is, as you say, a kind of summer romance. People are very excited about him. Sellout crowds here, standing room only in Los Angeles in a stadium seating thousands, over I think 27,000 people. But when asked to describe the candidate himself, many of the people there said, well, you know, we like him. But you can see that enthusiasm isn't really there the way it was for Obama, the way it is for Hillary Clinton and her events, sometimes at the big rallies when she does manage to fill the arena. They're there mostly because Sanders is a vehicle for their discontent with the Democratic Party and for the aspiration a lot of Democratic Party voters have to be voting for something pure from a policy perspective. The Democratic chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, stumbled on television twice when she was asked to name a difference between the Democrats and the socialists, and she couldn't. And that really is the core of the Democratic Party, that sort of idealistic, liberal left gentry that wants to be able to vote for someone with Bernie's pure principles, even though they don't necessarily find him the most convincing poster child or poster septuagenarian for those policies.
Yeah, poster child's the wrong word. Hey, Joel, thanks for joining us. I hope to have you on every week. It's great to see you again, giving us an update. Next week, let's talk about the Iran deal. We're out of time today, but I'd like to talk about how Democrats like Senator Menendez and Senator Schumer from New York are coming out against Obama and what that might mean if there's any chance of stopping this railroad. But we'll have to have that conversation next week. Thanks for joining us today, my friend, and congratulations again on your family news.